Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Sadie and Sean Have No Friends. And please remember to hit that subscribe button. And before we get started today, I just want to thank our show sponsors, Christiana Salon Spa. This is where you're going to go to relax. And if you're like me, I feel like this summer has been the longest summer in the history of all summers. And so I feel like, guys, we're at the finish line. School is about to start and we deserve a reward. So why not go over to Johnstown, Colorado to Christiana Salon Spa and get yourself a nice, relaxing massage, maybe a deep tissue massage. And if you mention the podcast, they're going to give you 10% off. So whether you're going to get that massage or maybe you get your hair done, or maybe you want to get your nails done, you can get that money off. Also, now I'm talking to the teachers. Teachers, oh my gosh, summer's almost done. You got to take care of all those booger eaters again. You deserve a massage too. So go and see them today. And thank you so much for sponsoring our little show. They're the reason why we get to do what we do, good or bad. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Sadie and Sean Have No Friends. Sean, you are so constantly fidgeting. Be sure to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch actual video of the show if you're just listening to it right now, because you'll get to see all of Sean's ticks. You got a lot of ticks there, buddy.
I do. There was something I was at this week, and I looked down, and like both legs were going, both arms were going. And I was like, man, wherever I'm at right now, the people around me probably think that I'm a real big idiot. But
you're just like constantly moving constantly.
Dude, last night I was sitting still watching TV. We had no plans, and it's one of those rare weeks this week where there's very few plans. I have one thing I have to do this weekend, and that's it. One concert for my band. But outside of that, I have no other obligations outside of work. And last night, like it dawned on me as I was sitting watching TV, I almost felt like guilty. And I know that's a problem because that's normal. You should be able to sit and just watch TV and have a night where there's nothing planned and then have another night behind it where there's nothing planned. But for me, because it's been go, 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 I was feeling guilty last night, and almost like a weird sense of depression, like I'm wasting my time. I need to do something. And I had to like fight with myself mentally to just like, dude,
actually just sit and be calm.
Yeah, no, don't fidget, don't move, don't like think about all the things you have to do, like just literally sit. And it was hard.
I mean, I'm not like trying to push anything, but do you think you need some sort of medication? I only say that because you fidget so much. I've never been in a room with somebody like you move your hat and then you like move your hat and move your hat and move your hat and then you like move in your chair and you move in your chair. I'm like, and I just have to wonder, is that something that maybe you need to get medicated for?
No, I don't believe in that kind of shit anyway. So even if they were like, dude, you should take this pill, it will help you. But I won't.
Maybe she legit would help you with this problem.
I still haven't taken my She Legit. I almost started. I was looking in my cupboard because it sits with all the other vitamins I take every morning. And if you're new to the show, I bought this Tibetan residue. It's like resin.
It's Tibetan resin, not residue, right? It's resin?
Resin, residue, same shit. Isn't resin short for residue? Anyway, you can only get it. It's black tar, and you can only get it from the Tibetan mountains, like where Mount Everest is. And there's this one buddy
Sean's friend who lives in a van and gets laid quite often.
He lives in a truck and he does get laid off, and he told me that it makes your wiener bigger, but that's not why I want to take it.
He said no, the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
He told me that it makes, like, when you work out, the results happen faster and better. It's just like good for you. It's like the fountain of youth, basically, is what it is. But it's not FDA approved. It's not like regulated by anybody. They drill it out of a mountain in Tibet in the Himalaya mountains. And like, he's fine other than the fact that he lives in his van. But I bought some and I've been afraid to take it. I've had it for like 3 or 4 months now and I still haven't taken it, but it's sitting in my vitamin cabinet and I look at it every day as I'm taking my vegetable.
How do you take it? Do you scoop it up? Because
you can. That's the most effective form, is to actually scoop the resin. And then he he puts it on his tongue and he's like, dude, it's horrible. It's the worst 5 seconds of my day. But you do it and you get it over with. I can't do that because I'm a picky eater. I'm not going to eat black tar. And so you can buy it in pill form. Supposedly it doesn't work as well,
Doesn't
but
have
it
that
works.
kick.
To me, like if the resin's in a pill and I swallow the pill, I'm still getting the resin, right? And so
Yeah, that's
anyway,
what
I
I
bought
think,
the
but
pill.
maybe it's super diluted down, you know? Maybe
I
it's
don't know.
really
Well, can you just you can buy empty pills. So here's what I've been thinking about is just like buying pill capsules and then taking the resin and stuffing it in the pills.
or you could
Anyway,
just take 5 seconds out of your day and put it on your tongue and just chase it with some water or something.
if I vomit, then I've now puked and I
Then it
still didn't get
defeats
the
the
resin in my
purpose.
stuff. Yeah, and now my day's ruined because once you puke, your day's over.
So are you worried about vomiting or are you worried about it not working? Are you
I
worried
won't vomit. I
about
got the pills, so I'm good with the vomiting part. I'm worried like
what
I'm not worried
that
about
there's
short
just
term.
something in it?
I'm not worried about short term. I'm not worried about like, will it make me have a heart attack later on this afternoon, or will it make my eyes start twitching? I'm not worried about any of that. I'm worried about like 25 years down the road when I start growing an extra nipple on my belly button or something, and the dude's like, "Have you ever
I feel
taken
like
any
that
weird
wouldn't be
foreign
that bad of
substances?"
side effects. Like,
Well, you never know.
if you watch like CBS Sunday Morning or Forensic Files or any of those kind of older shows, I love those shows. But if you watch those, you see these drug companies, and I mean, you know, they're dancing in the rain, and it's like anal leakage. So
Yeah.
if you get a nipple on your belly button, but you see results as a workout, I feel like that's a pretty fair trade. No, who's
No,
gonna look
I
at your
think
belly button, Sean?
I like
And a
taking off
nipple's
my shirt at the
tiny.
lake, and if there's some rando that's like, "Dude, did you know you have a nipple on your belly button?" Then I would never take my shirt off at the lake again, and that would be a sad day, so, no, that wouldn't be alright, but who knows? Maybe I hate to say this word, but, like, what happens if it gives you, like, cancer, like, 15 years down the road? That's what
But
I'm
I think
scared of.
everything
True.
I know, and I'm scared of that true, but as well, but I mean, everything gives you that. I mean, the stuff in the air right now, we've got all these wildfires going on, which it's horrible, but just the you got to think of the chemicals in the air that you're constantly sucking in. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of a believer in it you can't stop it. I think it's predestined that you're gonna die a certain way. I know this is weird, but I think that it's predestined, and I think that you can't stop it. You know, I
So,
we've
but
all
where
heard of
does the
Mara
Shilajit come in then? What if the Shilajit is, like, my predestined way to die, but I can,
then you're
like,
not gonna stop
twist
it.
them
Haven't you
well, I can twist the matrix and not take the Shilajit and be like, "Fuck you, matrix. I figured it out. I knew this was the way that I was gonna die, and I didn't take it, so now everything changes."
John, have you never seen Final Destination 1 through 12? I mean, literally, it's the same thing every time. You can't cheat death. If you try to cheat death, then it will have a ripple effect, you asshole, and then I'll probably die of something because you threw it all out of whack. I'm just saying, you might as well just say fuck it and do the she legit because we're all going to die someday, you know? And if the dude in the van thinks this will give you some ripped abs and calves, I say you throw that dice.
Well, I'm going to. That's why I bought the Shilajit to begin with. I
No,
have
but
to
it's
take
been
the
like
jump.
6 months.
I know. I need to see if it's expired. I gotta look at the bottle and make sure that I don't have expired Shilajit because that's where shit can get real weird probably. So I need to make sure it's not expired and I just need to go for it. I do, and I'm going to, and it's gonna happen. All right. Anyway, it's not what we came here to
Okay.
talk about today. We've talked about my Shilajit before. I didn't get to brag yesterday on the program. It was the first day since I got to do something really cool. And this is my like escape to tell everybody how cool my life is sometimes. And so I
Okay.
have to tell you about this because it was really cool and it was really fun. So I have this friend in the music industry. Her name is Jamise. I've never heard that name before. It looks
Oh,
like
I've
Janice,
never
but
heard
with
that
an
name.
M. But it's not
Jamise.
It's not Jamis, it's Jamise. Anyways, she has a weird name and she's done really well for herself and she knows a lot of people in the industry. She's also she's probably 15, 20 years older than me, but she's
Mhm.
a good-looking chick and you can tell back in her day like she was really really good looking and so I think that has gotten some doors to open for her and I think she would probably admit that too. She's a very
Okay.
smart and goal-driven woman too, but I never am surprised by anything that happens with her, but I was surprised by this. She called me last week. She called me on Thursday of last week, and she was like, "Hey, I'm coming into town. I work with an artist who's playing at Fiddler's Green. He's the opening act. No one really knows who he is yet, so it really has nothing to do with him. But I'm friends with Sean Payton, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, who won the Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints, and he has invited me out to training camp where the Broncos practice. And he
Oh,
said I
nice.
can bring a guest or two. I know you're a Bronco fan. Would you like to go? I've been really busy, and I was
That's
like,
how
man, I'm
you
gonna have to
grease the
see.
wheels, baby, in the
Well, in
music
my mind,
industry.
here's what I'm thinking though. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Jameis probably met Sean Payton at like some sort of charity dinner and they shook
Yeah.
hands, maybe even exchanged phone numbers or email addresses. And Jameis is going to get like a parking pass. She's going to get a VIP thing. Maybe we'll get early entry into practice or something like that. They're not really friends, right? That's really what I'm thinking. And so I'm not really that concerned about going, but I thought about it. I haven't been to Broncos training camp for a while. My day wasn't very busy on that Friday. And so I was like, all right, I'll go. So I go. We are the only people. There's one VIP tent that's up on the field. One. It's
Okay.
got water
Yeah.
and food and all kinds of stuff in it.
You love
And
that stuff.
well, we pull up, and first of all, Jamise is behind us because she hasn't shown up yet. She had to take a different car and she was late. And so me and this artist and his band show up, and we go to the lady at the desk that's like checking people in. And we're like, yeah, we're here with a lady named Jamise. Can you find her on a list? And she's like, oh, I know who you are. She doesn't even look at a list. She's like, I've got special wristbands for you. And it's like the parade begins. She gives us these
So who did
wristbands.
you
She
take?
takes us on the
Did you bring
field.
Shannon?
I didn't take,
Sorry,
I
did
didn't
you
get to
bring
take anybody. It was just me.
Oh, okay. Got it. Go ahead.
And so we go to this special VIP tent. There's one, literally one on the field, and it's ours. There's 5 of us, and it's just ours. We get this tent on the field, and there's food, and there's water, and there's drinks and everything. And we watch the Broncos practice. And the minute that practice gets over, Sean Payton makes a beeline towards us and like goes straight for
Yeah.
Jameis. Like they are, I was so totally wrong. They are not acquaintances. They are literally like best friends. Sean Payton stood there and talked to us for an hour, like the nicest guy ever. If you're a Bronco fan, you see Sean Payton in the media, and he's like this asshole coach, like hard ass,
I have to
not going to answer the media's questions, like just not nice. The kindest guy ever for an hour, like going around to each one of the 5 of us that were there and asking questions about us and our lives, getting to know us. And then he's like,
But do
any
you think
Broncos you want
I
to
mean,
meet?
okay, but listen, I'm gonna just play the devil's advocate here. I don't know anything. I don't know much about sports, even the Broncos. So I know that's kind of like, oh, wow. Because you should. Sean's a huge Bronco fan, but it would be lost on me because if I were walking through the grocery store and any of the players or the coach walked by, I would not even have any idea who it is. So this would be lost on me. But do you think that that's part of the deal? He has to do that. Like he has to, these are his VIP people, right?
Mm-mm.
No,
No,
these are
he did
just
not
like
have
his
to.
friends,
Who?
the people that showed up. It was just you two that were there.
That's it.
But you said he went around and talked to everybody.
You don't listen, do you?
Me and the people that were with us. There was 5 of us in our group, and that's it.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's it.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
And so
fancy.
he talks to us for like an hour. Him and Jameis are clearly like really good friends. And then he's like, any Broncos you want to meet? And so all the people, you got to realize all the people I was there with are from Nashville. They're all musicians. And so they're not Bronco fans. As a matter of fact, it kind of made me depressed as a Bronco fan because on the way there, they were talking about how they don't know any of the players because the Broncos just
Oh,
aren't good right now and there's no star power. And they're like, this would be a lot cooler if we were going to this team's training camp or this team's training camp because we know all the players.
oh
The Broncos
yeah.
don't have anybody. So anyway, he's like, any Broncos you want to meet? And those guys don't even know any of them.
Did you
And
say
so I was,
Peyton Manning?
well, I should have because that could have been my chance, but I know Peyton's at the Olympics right now. And so I did say, rolling the dice a little bit, that this guy might become the next Peyton Manning, the rookie quarterback the Broncos just drafted, Bo Nix. I was like, it would be cool to meet Bo. And so Sean Payton gets on his little walkie-talkie thing that's on his arm, and he's like, hey, bring Bo over here real fast. Within 30 seconds, Bo Nix, the new quarterback from the Broncos, is over here talking to us for like 10 or 15 minutes as well.
Ooh.
He wasn't as talkie-talkie as Sean Payton, but it was cool. So got my picture with him, and someday,
And one
if he's
day,
the
if he
next Peyton
blows up to
Manning,
be Yeah, you're
You'll
gonna
never
have a
see the end
picture
of
of
that
this.
picture. Yeah, I'll just post it over and over and over and like, look at me and Bo Nix are friends, don't you know?
So do you think that will be the end of the Garth Brooks Facebook profile picture of you
I
and
didn't even
Garth?
know
Because
that's
that's
my picture. Yeah,
but
I don't
that's
really pay
great, but
attention to the
maybe that yeah, okay, yeah, okay. No, that's very cool, but I feel bad because I feel like it would be lost on me, but I think it's for you, that's really cool because 'cause you're a big fan.
I'm a big fan, and it made me a fan of Sean Payton too, because I wasn't a huge fan of him because of, like I said, he's kind of a dick in the media when
Yeah.
he's not a very nice guy. He ran, and maybe rightly so, because I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but he ran Russell Wilson off last year, and just the way that
Yeah,
he
but
handled
wasn't
that whole
I
Russell
mean,
Wilson. He's like a
I
Saturday Night Live skit of himself. He's like a caricature of himself, and he's annoying and
yeah.
weird and wild. And Sean Payton called him on his shit, but I was almost team Russell Wilson because kind of felt bad for him. And now I'm team Sean Payton fully because I got an hour with him and saw that he's a really nice guy. Have you ever seen the
Yeah,
movie
but
that's
you're
about
seeing
him?
it no, but you're seeing a different version of this person than
Well,
his
yeah,
if
he was
you
probably
worked for
trying to
him.
lay Jamise or something.
Yeah. But, well,
There's a
that's an
movie about
interesting
Sean
fun
Payton.
day. Oh, okay.
So
What is it
the
called?
movie Kevin James plays Sean Payton. It was a Netflix movie that came out in 2022. Kevin James is Sean Payton. It's called The Home Team, and it's so what happened was Sean Payton used to coach the New Orleans Saints. That's where he won the Super Bowl, right? There was this thing called
Okay.
Bounty Gate, and Bounty Gate was the coach of the defense on the Saints when Sean Payton was the overall coach was paying players to hurt players from the other team. Like the more you hurt these guys, the more
Oh,
money you got paid. And that's obviously really, really illegal. And the league found out about it. And so they suspended the entire coaching staff, including Sean Payton, for a year. And so during that year, Sean Payton was suspended from the NFL. He went and coached his son's little league football team. And the movie is about that. And
and
it's
then he came
horrible.
back?
It's a really yeah, boy, he was only
It's a
suspended
bad
for 1 year.
movie?
So then he came back and he coached the Saints for many, many more years, took a year off, and now he's the coach of the Broncos. But and he's the highest paid coach in the NFL too, by the way. So I'm like
So that's
friends
why
with a
he was
real
in such
rich
a good
guy.
mood.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
why would you who cares? Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. Going home to your billions of
Yeah,
dollars
but
and your
okay, but you say that, but I mean, again, let's go back to Russell Wilson. I remember when he was, like, huge. I mean, he could do no wrong, and then he came to Denver, and it's like he just continually shit the bed. And maybe it's just not the vibe, the altitude, too weird for him. I don't know what it was, but it was not his thing. It
it was
wasn't a
not
good
his
fit, but
It
so what I'm
sounds
saying
as
is,
though
yes,
Russell
he'll
Wilson
go
just lost the mojo. You remember Austin Powers when he lost his mojo and he couldn't perform anymore? I think the same thing happened to Russell Wilson. His mojo's gone. Dr. Evil has it somewhere and he's working on getting it back, but he still hasn't gotten it because the Broncos released him. He now plays for the Steelers, and I'm hearing news out of the Steelers training camp that Russell Wilson looks horrible, like worse than he looked in Denver. Horrible. So it wasn't
what
just
do you so
Denver.
you just think one day he woke up and just wasn't good anymore?
Yeah,
That's
I
messed
do.
up. That makes me
Well,
feel
age
sad for him.
in professional sports, age is a thing, especially it's a brutal, violent sport like football. You literally have like when you get to go on the field at practice and you get to see these, like they're not human. They're so big. These guys that are trying to kill you are 350 pounds, 6'7", and they do nothing but work out all day. And so they're like the man of steel, and they're hitting you as hard as they possibly can. Russell Wilson is 5'8" and all of 175 pounds, and his whole career he's been getting hit by these superhuman guys. I think it just took a toll on him.
Yeah, so you think he should have just tapped tapped out and been like, "I'm done," after the sea he was with the sea no, Dolphin oh my god,
Seahawks,
this is how little I
Seahawks,
know. Is it
Seahawks.
Seahawks? Okay. But I'm just saying, yes, he has millions of dollars, but it's and I feel the same way about Brett Favre because of Wienergate, because he's sending wiener pictures to people, and I'm like,
They
"Oh
didn't
my god,"
want
at
him,
one
by
time
the
you
way.
were huh?
They didn't want the
Oh,
wiener
he
pictures.
didn't
That was
want
the
the
problem.
pictures?
Yeah, he sent that's what Wienergate is. He kept sending wiener pictures to a reporter, and she was like, "Dude, Brett Favre, I don't want to see your dick. Quit sending it to me." And he kept sending it. and that's Wienergate.
Stop it. Wienergate? I didn't know it was that. I thought it was just something completely different than that.
No, that's what it is.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, that ended a storied career for he should like Peyton
That
Manning did
didn't
it
end his
right.
story. That was after he retired.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, it ended this beautiful vision that we all had of, like, what a great guy, like a down to earth dude. And now he's probably going to farm potatoes and cool. And then he became wiener guy. I tell you what,
I
one
see.
major thing like that happens in your life. That's all you're going to ever be known for. That's
But
why
hold
Peyton
on.
Manning, yeah.
No, this is where you're wrong. Somehow Peyton Manning has a really good PR firm because when he was playing for the Broncos, this came out. So Peyton played college football at the University of Tennessee. And there is a scandal with Peyton when he was playing college football where he would like you have female like interns and they're going to school to be masseuses or like physical therapists or whatever. And so they work for the football team while they're in college. Well, Peyton supposedly got like naked on one of these massage tables after
Oh, I
practice
think
one
I
day.
remember
And like,
this.
I can't remember. I want to say that the story, and don't quote me on this because I don't know if it's right, but I want to say he like farted on the lady or showed her his bits when she didn't want to see it or something. But there was a full on scam. Like she was trying to get Peyton Manning canceled. And it sounds like it happened. And somehow Peyton's team got it all brushed under the rug.
That's an amazing PR team. Holy cow, because you're right. Now he's at the Olympics. I keep seeing him like, watching the gymnastics and, he's living the time of his life. Which, speaking of Peyton Manning, I don't know why this came up today, but last night I was scheduling everything across social media to post like the episode. And I just started to I'm going to start tagging Peyton Manning because I think once you guys meet, I do think you would be best friends. So I'm just going to start hashtagging and tagging and tagging and tagging until, he puts out a
Until he
restraining
blocks
order
you.
against you.
Until he blocks you. And he's going to think it's me doing all the tagging.
Oh,
It's not
he
me.
is because I
Peyton, if you
do it and
happen
then
to
I
watch one
say,
of these,
Per Sean's request, now tagging Peyton Manning. And so that's an interesting fun day. What else did
I
you
have
do?
said that I do this before, but I've been told so the sports station that we have in our building as well. One of the hosts over there is a guy named Brandon Stokely, and Brandon Stokely and Peyton Manning are best friends. And so
Okay.
Brandon Stokely I've talked to in the hall a time or two, and he tells me Peyton listens to KYGO all the time. He listens to your show. And so knowing that, I sometimes will just randomly bust out the whole if Peyton Manning, if you're listening and you want to chat, give me a
You
call.
say
Here's the phone
that?
number. I've done it many times and I'm still
Do
waiting.
you feel,
I don't know.
do you,
I in my head, I like to think Peyton's just not listening at that time. He's a busy guy. If he's not driving around town, he's probably not just sitting around listening to my radio station. And so I probably just haven't hit the nail on the head yet. So I'm going to keep throwing it out there, keep throwing darts because I think that if he hears that, he's going to call.
yeah, but couldn't you tell his best friend, hey, rather than throwing this out on the radio all the time, do you think maybe the next time he's around, you could introduce me to him? Because it's not like you're
Yes.
some rando.
I have done that. And Brandon is very protective of his relationship with Peyton. And so he's made it very clear he doesn't ask Peyton for favors. They're friends and he doesn't ask him for favors. And that is a favor. Like, hey, I work with this
Yeah.
guy. Will you take a picture with him? That's a favor. And so I respect that because I have situations like that too, where I have to be careful. Like everybody's like, well, you're friends with this guy. Can you call him up and have him write a song with me or something? Like, no, I can't do that. That
Oh,
crosses the friend
yeah.
line and then you're not friends anymore. Once you cross that line, then you're using these people who everyone in the world wants to use. Now you're just one of them.
And they have like, I would imagine celebrities like Peyton Manning have a tight circle. And there's a reason why, because yeah, it would be exhausting if people constantly wanted something from you. It'd be like, having kids. It'd be like being a mom.
And you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right. So
Anyway.
we have 8 minutes left or 7 minutes left in this show. Let's play a new game. I have a few
Okay.
stories that I found on the internet. I'm going to give them all to you, just the headline or the idea of the story, and you get to pick one and we'll talk about it. Are you ready? All right. Thing
Okay,
number
I'm
one
ready.
is things that are priced too high right now and what's worth paying more for. There's the average person has around 5 friends, just like 50 years ago. There is,
Okay.
did Ben Affleck leave J-Lo because of stuff
Oh!
the FBI showed him from their Diddy raid? And then the final one is Dolce and Gabbana is selling perfume for your dog.
I don't care that. I don't care about that. And the one that I
That's the
do
one
care
I would
about,
pick
I
right now.
wonder,
The
forget about the
perfume for your
Dolce
dog.
Gabbana.
My dog stinks. Like,
No,
does it
we're not
actually
gonna
work?
stop going down that road. It's my decision to pick, not
That's true.
just because you have a smelly dog. I really want to go with the Ben Affleck I won't, because I feel
Don't
like I
do it.
could go on and
Fine. I've already clicked on it. It's too late.
well, nobody care. I don't think anyone gives a shit about that, though. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they want to hear more about people having just 5 friends or something. But I have to tell you, I'm so, like, insanely into this. It's disgusting. And now I get fed everything J-Lo and Ben Affleck, and I'm like, what's going on? Why haven't they filed for divorce? This has just been the weirdest relationship, and she made such a big deal out of it. Sean, could you imagine how embarrassing that would be if you were in her shoes? I hear she's horrible. I've never met her, so I can't say, but if you were in her shoes where you got together with somebody, obviously in the beginning of a relationship, you have that passion and that, but they got back together, they got married, and then they just, I don't even know what happened. What's going on? You know what it is? It rarely works when 2 people get back together. And I
I don't
think
know the story. I'm trying to follow along because I don't know the full story. So Ben Affleck and J-Lo were together a long time ago, and then they broke up, and that's when J-Lo was with Alex Rodriguez, because that's still the world I'm
she was
living
with
in.
like a bunch of people. She
Yeah,
was
she
just
was.
she was with
I thought she
different
was with
people.
A-Rod,
She was with
and
Mark
now
Anthony and
yeah,
yeah. Okay,
and
so
then
then let me
now
just try to
she's
be
gotten back. She got back with Ben Affleck, and they're married currently, but they're not doing well.
okay. So yes, she got back together, and it was like this Cinderella story. Even I myself was like, "What? Yes," because in the early 2000s, this was the couple, man. They were so cute, and then they broke up, and it was sad for some reason. And I'm sure a lot of people are listening, like, "No, it wasn't. Get a life." But to me, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of a bummer." And then 20 years goes by, and then they get back together, and it's magic, and they have the wedding that they never had 20 years ago, whatnot. And now they're getting a divorce. But I'm like, oh my God, how embarrassing for her, because she got back together with him. Then she made a movie about it called The Greatest Love Story Never Told. And then she made a documentary about making that movie. And then she made an album, and she was going to go on tour, and it was completely based on her love of Ben Affleck. Like, look, everybody, our dreams came true. But the problem is, when you get back with an ex, 9 times out of 10, they're still an asshole. 20 years might have passed, and I think that that's how there was this justification, was they're like, so much time has passed. And no, it is a mess. It's a shit show. Don't worry, I'm
Here's the problem
following.
that
If
I would have.
anyone go.
The problem I would have is every time I was doing my now wife J-Lo, I would be thinking about
Mhm.
Alex Rodriguez and his wiener.
Oh, doing her? Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
Mark
but I think
Anthony or all these
Ben,
other dudes. Like
what do
that's
you
hard.
mean?
Hard
Well,
to,
but
like, if it's some random
that's
dude off the street that you don't really know, I guess it's fine. Like, you could get past it. Like, she had to go experience a different ding dong, and she came back to mine, so she really liked it, and that's cool. But when it's Alex Rodriguez and Mark Anthony and maybe other celebrities, do I compare? Like, A-Rod's a good looking dude.
do you think he would? I don't think Ben
Mark
Affleck is.
Anthony's a good looking dude.
I don't think he has a big wiener. I just get he has
Ooh,
the body shape. Mark
which one?
Anthony. Ben Affleck, I could see having a medium-sized to larger wiener. And A-Rod, I don't know.
He did
Whatever he's got, it's
steroids.
drug
I
induced.
heard
So
what
that
steroids do
doesn't
to
count.
you. Steroids make
Yeah.
your weenie shrink, I heard. So, all right. So here's
You
the
could wear
story. I clearly think
oh,
that
go ahead.
this is the one that you picked. So, this is what it says. It says, it's an interesting theory, but it comes from a dubious source. Death Row Records founder Suge Knight, in his podcast, which he hosts from prison, where he's serving
I was
28
gonna
years
say,
for
isn't that dude in
manslaughter.
prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suge suggested that he knows why Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez broke up. It's because the FBI showed Ben incriminating materials that they picked up from their raid on Diddy's house.
Oh, Ooh, ooh,
So
ooh,
she
ooh,
was doing Diddy
ooh.
too, which also is a problem. Um, I don't know what the incriminating stuff is, but that's what Suge Knight says, and he thinks, and he truly believes on his podcast, according to this article, that that is why Ben and J Lo are no longer.
That would totally make sense. Also, why has that story fallen off the map about, P. Diddy being a complete psycho? I mean, what's going on here? We're not hearing about that anymore. But yeah, they raided his stuff. That would make sense because it seems like Ben Affleck just had a clean cut. And people are saying it's because she is so career driven and wants to be a star. And he does not like that. He likes to, I guess, do the work and then be left alone. And it's just not meant to be. But I hear there were some freaky things going on with P. Diddy.
What would you have
Freaky.
to see in these tapes from P.
Well,
Diddy that would
listen.
cause you to leave
So
your wife? What would she be doing?
it's just I love talking to you about this. This is my passion. So apparently P. Diddy was having like I think they're called freak off
Oh,
parties.
yeah, you told me that it
And
was, like, gay stuff. That's why I'm like, why is J Lo involved?
But it was like orgies and weird shit. Like, I mean, we're talking about like next level weird sex stuff. And maybe he saw some stuff that he cannot unsee. I mean, imagine you are madly in love with your wife. I know that, but what if you saw a picture of her, with some sheep and a bunch of people in a room and there's some stuff going on? You would look at her in a different way all of a sudden. It'd be like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? And I
Just
guess a
knowing
lot of
my
this
wife
stuff
did Diddy would probably be enough for me. That would probably be good. I would be like, "All right, I can't. I I
I
can't.
just can't with you. I can't with you. He used to
Just
be
Diddy."
called
There
Puff
doesn't even have to
Daddy,
be a sheep
then P.
involved.
Diddy.
He's a murderer. I know he had something to do with Biggie Small's murder. I just can't.
It's just so sad. It's the whole situation is just such a mess. But Sean, you have opened up my eyes because I've never heard that theory but I'm like,
It's
damn,
brand
that
new.
does tie together where because he is done. She just had her birthday party in the Hamptons. And I'm so lame. I know
He
this.
didn't get
She
invited.
No, he wasn't there, but she had this lame weirdo Bridgerton party where she was like the star. And here's another thing I noticed about her. She always got to sing a song. Like when she was with Ben Affleck, someone leaked a video of her singing a song that she wrote for him at their wedding. And it was so cringy. It was so cringy. And then they came out with this thing where they were like, we would just like to apologize. That video was stolen. And I'm like, nobody gives a shit about your song, J-Lo. But I digress. Where were we at? I could go on all day.
Clearly, there's a lot going on here with J Lo and Ben Affleck, and it sounds like J Lo just might be a crazy bitch, and Ben Affleck's kind of a normal dude who didn't want to deal with any more crazy. So I'm Team Ben, from what you've told me, and I
I'm
kind of want to get
totally
Suge
team
Knight on
Ben.
this podcast. It sounds like he's bored and he does podcasts from prison, so we should reach out to Suge Knight's PR team or his parole officer or
I think
whoever,
we
see if
definitely
he wants
should.
to come on.
Yeah, that wouldn't be scary at all. Sean,
That's
you
going to
would
be your
cry. You
job. He
cried
can't
when I
hurt us
had this.
from prison.
Do you know, I bet he's connected. We're a bunch of losers from Northern Colorado who are like, we don't know anything about that stuff.
It's the
He's probably
perfect spot for
connected.
Suge Knight to come on and reveal some shit.
Yeah, that's true. And we
All
might be
right,
on
get him.
Entertainment Tonight.
Get
That's
him.
still a thing.
Get
Thank
him.
you so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, and thank you to the folks who have subscribed. And be sure to continue listening. We are so grateful that we get to continue doing this show because we genuinely have like a good time. It makes me laugh. So download past issues if you've missed anything, and that's it. Sean, I heart you.
Yeah. Go get Suge Knight. You have one
Okay,
job today. By tomorrow, you're going to
I'm
have
gonna
good news
get
for
him.
us. All right, bye.
Hey, everybody, it's Sadie here again. And before you sign off, will you do me a favor? Will you go to our social media pages and check out the pet of the week? I'm obsessed with this dog. Ryan would divorce me, but I'm so close. It's a tiny Chihuahua, and his name is Little D, and he's amazing. And he's good with kids. He's good with other animals. He's housebroken. But the best thing in Little D's bio is the fact that he does not like being woken up in a chaotic way. That's like the only downside to this dog, which I'm like, yeah, me too. So we're connected. But again, I might get a divorce if I bring home another pet. So maybe you would like to adopt Little D. Well, we're working with our friends at Mile High Canine Rescue, and this is all sponsored by Casey's Pest Control Services. We're doing the Pet of the Week. We're hoping to get these animals adopted. Every week, you're going to get a new pet that you may fall in love with, like Little D, which is what they used to call Sean in high school. I stole that joke from him. Thank you, Casey's Pest Control Services, for being the segment sponsor of the Pet of the Week. Details on our social media pages.